Okay, people, so let's get this video in. I want to talk about none other than Guilia. Now, Guilia is someone I've been watching for a long time. When Guilia was in Stardom, I remember saying I wouldn't mind seeing her in AEW. Because Guilia just, I've seen so many of her matches. Now, you guys, if you remember, I made Guilia on Fight Forever. I wound up making someone else afterwards. But I made her. I made so many people. I made Bozilla. I made Megan Payne. I made Camille. I made so many people before they even came to AEW, and they wind up coming to AEW. So, case in point, yeah, I watch different things and see what's going on. Okay. So, when Guilia was leaving Stardom World, the general consensus was that she and Stephanie back here were both going to WWE. Well, before Stephanie goes to WWE, she makes a pit stop and comes to the Forbidden Door and gets beat by Mercedes Moné in a very solid match. And then she ends up going to NXT. Now, Guilia, on the other hand, was already rumored that she was coming. And if you guys remember, they made a much bigger deal about Guilia coming to WWE than they did Stephanie back here. I said, Guilia isn't a good fit in WWE. Her wrestling style is she's not an entertainer on the microphone. She's not an entertainer with her movements and her actions and like her body language. She's a straight up wrestling machine. She wrestles, she's hard hitting style, and she goes in there and she was custom made for and from that Japanese style of wrestling. Which is why, if you pay attention to the WWE, they only get Japanese wrestlers that have some type of flash and flair to them. They don't get the rugged, hard-nosed type. You would never see Ishii or guys like Okada. They don't know what to do with wrestlers like them. They don't know what to do with wrestlers like that. They need wrestlers that have a silliness to them, a goofiness to them. That's what now Mia Shirakawa could go to WWE. I think they'd fuck her over, or maybe stick her with the Kabuki Warriors and just have her because she has that presence, that dancing and silliness, and she just had that outgoing. She has that factor that the fans like about her. So she's someone that can do that. That's not Guilia. Guilia is more of a Kurt Angle. What's the other guy name? Not even so much more like Josh Allen. She's like a. She has the wrestling ability, but her presence, she's more like a Josh Alexander. Nothing really outgoing about him, what he says, but in that ring, he's a fucking machine. That's Guilia. I've even heard WWE fans go, she's garbage. She can't wrestle. No, you need to shut up, Junior. That chick can wrestle. That's the problem. And what I've said, the WWE don't care about titles. They don't care about wrestling. They want to be Hollywood in a ring and just go in there and flop around, do a couple of moves, get a couple of oohs and ahs, have some moments, and call it a wrestling match. And that's not Guilia. Okay, Stephanie back here, noticed, the more they keep her off the mic, have her come out, just walk to the ring, smile at the crowd, keep her a face. It's something about Stephanie that they like, but hey, you got to remember, there's a lot of Latino fans that come out to these wrestling shows. Okay, and the fact that they've acquired AAA, and so you get people who a lot of those cheers is she's one of us, she's a Mexican. You understand what I'm saying? It's if you listen to the freaking WWE fans when they're complaining about Raw and SmackDown, what are they saying? They don't care about the matches, right? And she's still a gimmick as well. With the whole, out of everything that Stephanie can do, what's the most exciting thing about her? When she does that move that Victoria used to do, that Sunny Kiss used to do, I remember just different females doing that move where they lock their legs around your head and slam your face down to the mat. No, but bottom line, that's what I'm saying. The problem in the WWE is You will shine for a little bit, then they just push you, brush you aside to bring in the next person in, but they never take them to a height where it's like, okay, that person right there is a household word, and that person right there has put the work in, and they can see the development and see that this person is next. There's something big. Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez are perfect examples of that. You put you in a position where you're fighting against a Bailey or a Becky Lynch or somebody that's up in top stature in the company, and afterwards, like, what happens? What happened to the push? Where are they? They're still fighting the same meaningless matches about nothing. Okay, just smiling and waving and doing a bunch of little girly stuff. Not grown women business, not grown men business. Okay, enough of that. Okay, so what I did, I got a checklist. Okay, as you saw in the thumbnail, of where Giulia could go and shine, and where she could go and she's gonna fail. Now, off top, I'm gonna start with AEW. I bet you she went to AEW now. I bet you she wished she went. AEW, their audience love pro wrestling. Yes, they love the storylines as well, because AEW has a well balance of it, and it's not done where it's copycatting what WWE style is doing and whatever. No, they have what they do. It's hard hitting. It's grown up stuff, not just a bunch of insults and slick talk. I mean, MJF does that. But for the most part, no, it's not a let's just insult each other and crack jokes and oh, she roasted her. Oh, he said this and that about her. It's their promo styles. I love that more mature approach. I always have. The silly stuff is really not for me. Okay. She could go to AEW and she could shine there. Now, I'm always going to say could or can't, in a sense of, I don't know this for sure. Put it like this: if she's used right, yes, any wrestler can thrive, can shine if they're used right in any company. But when you look at stylistically, certain companies just show you they don't know what to do with certain wrestling types, and that's what we have to deal with. So that's the reality of it. She could shine like a superstar. Look at Rio. Rio comes out. She don't really say anything. She waves, she's friendly with the crowd, she interacts with them with her move. Like, she's like, it's like you have actors, but you have method actors. Okay? Rio and Giulia are like method actors. You understand what I'm saying? So they go in, they could thrive. And look at Rio, former champion. Okay. She could shine. And they would respect her in-ring ability, and that's what she does. See, they tried to give her a gimmick and tried to make her, another version of Oscar and Io Sky, and that's just not Giulia's character. She doesn't fit in with that, and you could see that she doesn't even look like she's comfortable doing these things. Like, they're trying to give her a character that just doesn't fit her. It's like having Pee Wee Herman, play Jason or some shit. Jason Voorhees. Like, it just doesn't fit in. Certain things just don't mesh, and Giulia is a wrestler. And that's why I say anybody that's dumb enough to say she can't wrestle, go watch her work in Stardom World. She can wrestle. Oh, yes, she can wrestle. She's not a good fit for WWE, whether it's NXT, Raw, or SmackDown. It's just not a good fit for her. And look at what they've done with her. She just lost to Chelsea Green in under 2 minutes. Chelsea Green. So now they want to take the goofball. And what? Now they want to catapult Chelsea Green up to the top title spots finally after all these years. And so whatever. It is what it is. But Giulia could shine in AEW. She could definitely shine in AEW. I could see her and Mercedes Moné. I mean, there's so many matchups that she could have over there, and it would be banger matches. And that's what the WWE is not allowing her to do. They're not allowing her to be Giulia. That's what they do to the talent that goes there. We want to put our own twist on you. Giulia would be able to be herself, and she'd be able to shine, and she'd make a strong impact and become, get that just due that she deserved coming from Stardom World. And I loved watching her in Stardom World. And anybody that thinks she can't wrestle, go watch her Stardom World matches, and you will see, oh, yes, she can. And you notice in Stardom World, the Japanese style of promos is like the crowd is completely silent. They applaud what you're saying after you're done speaking. That's just the way the culture is. Okay, so they don't come from this promo style that you see in the States. That's just not what they do over there. Okay, so I give a check mark to her going to AEW, that she would shine in AEW. And I have no reason to think that she'd go over there and be misused. Okay, not to mention they have a tag team division now as well too. So there's a lot of pieces you can move around. You know, Ring of Honor being there, having their roster of females as well. There's so many great matchups that she could have, so many great moments and situations that she could be put in AEW. Now, another place she would shine is Maple Leaf Pro. Maple Leaf Pro, I have yet to see a promo yet. I'm not saying they don't have them somewhere, but I think it would be foolish to cut the promos from the videos that you put on YouTube. That's the only way I see it. Maple Leaf Pro is on YouTube. I don't know if they have a channel that they come on or what. I don't know. But Maple Leaf Pro is a crowd that loves pro wrestling. I don't see promos. I don't see backstage segments. I don't see any of that stuff. So I don't see that happening in Maple Leaf Pro. They seem to be a company that focuses, like, you know, wrestling prestige. It's there, like they focus on just straight up pro wrestling, and she would be appreciated there, and she'd be able to be herself. And the stories in Maple Leaf Pro is told in the ring, not so much outside. They're not really promo heavy at all. I just haven't seen it yet. So I don't know if that's going to change. But everybody that I've seen come there has had banger matches. You know, I've seen Josh Alexander go over there. You know, people that's right now in the NWA, in AEW, MLW. You know, they've been over there. And yeah, Maple Leaf Pro has, I like the variations, man. And people that love WWE would hate Maple Leaf Pro. Because if you don't like just straight up wrestling, well, you wouldn't like watching Maple Leaf Pro, which means if Julia was over there, you wouldn't care. You could care less. You'd say, oh, they don't have, like, some of the stupidest things I hear people say, so-called wrestling fans. Start calling yourselves WWE storyline fans. You know, even though Triple H told y'all stories don't have to make sense, that's why they don't. But start calling yourself storyline fans, because when you say you're wrestling fans and then say, who cares about wrestling? I can get a great wrestling match anywhere. Like, wow, really? That's like one of the stupidest comments that I hear so-called wrestling fans say. Imagine saying, who cares about boxing? Anybody can put on a great boxing match. I'm there for the story and for the festivities. I want to see Lil Wayne walk down to the ring rapping. So you're there for every reason other than the boxing, because that's what these so-called wrestling fans are saying. And it sounds like, it's like, really, like I said, one of the dumbest comments that I hear people make about pro wrestling. Okay. But she would shine over in Maple Leaf, because that audience, how big or how small your audience is, doesn't change the fact that they like what they like. So Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, she would shine over there for sure. They would appreciate Julia, and she would definitely get a "you deserve it" when she was, if she was doing the title, because Julia is a great wrestler. Okay, she's a great performer in the ring. She's not an all around, I got mic skills, I can do promos, and that's not who she is. Now, she is from the UK, but she was raised in Japan. And I actually saw Julia in person twice. And it was funny how it just randomly, like you know how you look at somebody and you go, man, that looks like, it's like, no, I knew it was her when I saw her. The second time I wasn't sure. But I seen her twice in real life, okay, in person. But yeah, so that's two places I give a check mark to that she would shine. NWA, she wouldn't shine in the NWA. Now, what would happen is this: for the people that recognize her, they would, give her a big pop. Oh, that's Julia from WWE, or whether they remember her from NXT, from Stardom or NXT or whatever, or, SmackDown, whatever it is. Bottom line, for those that know who she is, she just get the pop because she's on an NWA program at the time and they know who she is. Okay. The problem is the women's division in the NWA is weak. NWA storylines really don't make sense. Like nothing in the NWA makes sense. I honestly don't know what the hell they're doing in NWA. They got this Roku deal, but I just don't get it, man. Like the stuff that they do, it's just like who's writing this stuff, or is anybody writing anything? Like what is actually happening? She would be in a weak division, and for her, for somebody with her ability to go in there and have to carry people like the women in NWA are just not talented, man. They're just not. And they don't have matches that's really memorable. It's just a lot of silliness going on, and it's not really taken serious. It just honestly feels like comedy hour when the women are in the ring. They don't have anybody there that stands out, anybody that really can wrestle and really just put on a real great match. And she wouldn't shine there because it's nothing for her to get involved in that means anything. And if it's just the fact that she get cheers because okay, she used to be in WWE, well, so what? You know, that's only gonna last for so long. The NWA just, I mean, their women's division is weak. It's not deep at all, and there's no real challenges there for her. It's just matches. That would be it. She's just in wrestling matches. So that would not be a good fit for Julia. So NWA, they get an X. Not a good fit for Julia. MLW, okay, Major League Wrestling. She would shine there because they have a strong relationship with New Japan, like Japanese companies and others. Forget the other one. New Japan is another company over there that they get. You know, they have wrestlers that come over. They have Japanese champions right now in NLW. They don't have a big women's roster, but what they do is they get women from the Japanese wrestling promotions, and they have them come in. They have a lot of like cross promotion stuff going on, and how she would be used is how they pretty much use all of them. It's like when they have the main events of have like these pay-per-views, that's when they really put the women on. And on their regular show, weekly show, it's the same thing as far as having talent come from different places, but they always have hard-hitting matches, and their matches are lengthy. So she would shine because she would be able to show the people what she can do. The weakest part about MLW's product is their storylines, man. Like, the fact that they have them, but a lot like NWA, their storylines just don't make any sense. Like it's hard to follow what's actually happening in MLW. And what NLW does is their main stars are the ones who really get promo time and stuff. But it's like they just come in the ring and talk. But like you still are trying to figure out what the hell is going on when you're watching NLW, right? And I feel like with her though, because she be matched up. The thing that they do is with the women, they match them up with another top woman that can actually go. So when they get in the ring, it's like, okay, they're going to go in there and let them go for a while. It's not these little 2-3 minute matches and, or she's just eye candy, come out, the booty cheeks hanging out and can't really wrestle. And no, they actually have the women go in there and wrestle. So she would shine in MLW and get respect and have that respect because MLW fan base is more into the wrestling than they are the story stuff, the storylines and all. And if you're an MLW fan and you've been sticking them this long, then you are obviously used to the fact that they just are all over the place with these stories. And I just don't understand how they operate like that with these stories. Like who's writing this stuff? But that's they do put shows together where it's like, yeah, it was a cool show, and Julia would have that time to go on there and shine and show everybody what she can do. So she would thrive in MLW. She would definitely shine in MLW. which is where Baron Corbin is, and I feel like he was a better fit. I really didn't want to see him in AEW because I just feel like he doesn't bring any value to the company. He's just another WWE release guy that they didn't even use right. And the last images you have of him is him being happy Corbin and just doing silly stuff. Now he's back to the serious side, but hey man, certain people need a makeover. That way, when they make their debut at a new company, it's a different impact, it's a different respect, and people take them more serious. And I feel like for someone like Julia, they have a lot of serious type wrestlers, and all of the Japanese wrestlers that come over there, they always in these hard hitting matches. And I feel like that, and that's what Julia, that's where she comes from. That type of cloth. She's a wrestler, man. And, stop saying she can't wrestle, because she certainly can. So MLW check mark for Julia. She'll shine there. Stardom World is where I first seen her, and she was always a major impact player there. And I feel like if she went back to Stardom World, unless there's some bad blood with somebody there, she would go right back and shine all over again. She's made history there. It would be a welcome back. People miss her type of thing, and I feel like Julia will go there and she'd show she still got it. She's still that same person, and she'd feel right at home. She's right back to doing what she was doing already, and the type of environment that she understands and she's used to. So she would definitely shine in Stardom World. And the thing about Stardom World, for you that who might not know, it's all an all-women's organization. But that's where Tekla comes from. That's why I remember seeing Tekla at as well, as well as the other indies. But Julia is she's a gem, man. I don't care if people can talk all the shit they want, but I've seen Julia wrestle so many times, and she can go, man. But like I told you, her style of wrestling, she's a wrestler. And in this era, think about it, man. After the Bob Backlund era, those type of wrestlers in the WWE just they were far and few. So the Bret Harts of the world, the Kurt Angles of the world, they never got what Hogan got, or Stone Cold, or The Rock. They didn't give them that. So that era is like they try to get away from that and go more to the entertainment side of, superheroes versus supervillains type of thing. And so Julia, she would be right back at home, and it would just be Julia doing her thing again. So she would shine in Stardom World. Okay, and mind you, every company don't have the same audiences. So she'd be right back in front of the audience that grown to know her and love what she did. So yeah, she would shine there. So check for Stardom World. WWE. I said it from day one, Julia's not a good fit for the WWE. And now you see it now, don't you? I told you guys, the WWE is not going to know how to use her, man. They're not. And the smartest thing that they're doing with Stephanie Vaquer is keeping her off that microphone, because her English is terrible. Okay, and the less she say, the better. Okay, women are not known to have a mouthpiece with them. They'll give the men a Paul Heyman or MVP, or somebody to come out and talk for them. But women don't get that. Not that Stephanie needs it, but to have her come out, and usually, faces don't get managers for whatever reason. They always give face or manage to the heels for whatever reason. But Stephanie Vaquer, I don't know if it's going to be a situation where they keep her on top. I feel like because of her having the reaction she get from the Mexican fans, that they may keep her around to try to keep her relevant as long as possible. But at the same time, Stephanie Vaquer is not one of those, entertainer type, silly stuff type of wrestlers herself. And like I said, her little gimmick move with that's what they look forward to with her. How long is that going to last, though? You know what I mean? So I knew who Stephanie Vaquer was before she, came and wrestled Mercedes Moné. And this is what I'm saying. I look at things that happen. I watch what's going on, and by the time you see them on the AEW or WWE screen, it might be the first. Well, it's the first for a lot of people, but when you already know who they are, the one thing I love about AEW is you're allowed to come there and be you, and whatever touches, whatever character changes or enhancements or whatever, they don't take you away from who you are. Look at Christian Cage's character. Let's not forget about him. Okay, look at how he's changed. Look at his complete character change, who he is now versus who he was. Even when he was a heel in WWE, he wasn't what he is right now. So things like that, you got to look at. And Stephanie Vaquer is there, but hey, Julia, and like I said, they made a much bigger deal about Julia coming than they did Stephanie Vaquer. But they obviously didn't know what to do with Julia, just like I said. Stephanie Vaquer gets to the point where she starts becoming a doormat, she'll leave too. Where she goes, who knows? And the WWE have shown you already that Julia is not a good fit there. So she gets the X. WWE gets the X as far as Julia. And like I said, the grass is not always greener. You might think it is, and people are hyping you up and telling you, you should go to WWE. And you get there and find out, no, I shouldn't. I should have went right to AEW or, another company where I could go and shine. And if the money matters, if that's all that you care about, and you don't mind the fact that you're beating your body up to do nothing but just go in there and be a doormat for the next person, so be it. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but just saying, I knew Julia was more than that. And I mean, when I hear people, she's a jobber, she's an absolute jobber, she's no good, she can't run. Like, she's no fucking jobber. That's the way the WWE has made her. That's how they used her. She's no jobber. This chick can wrestle. But, we have this new generation running their mouths. Now, WOW, Women of Wrestling. Like I said, X for the WWE with Julia. WOW is another all-women's organization. But here's the difference with WOW. They are character-based. They talk a lot on the microphone. They all have character that they express. And they do a lot of talking on the microphone. Their fans like the fact that they like the wrestling, but they like the overall show. Now, I think the fans would respect the fact that Julia really can wrestle, but she doesn't have the personality. She doesn't have that outgoing, engage the fans and type of, get them behind her. Now, if they gave her someone that was in her corner, that made a big deal about her, and she kind of was in her Brock Lesnar mode of, yeah, I'm that chick, yeah, But the thing is, you want to keep Julia a face. You want her to be a face. Okay? I don't see that happening in WOW, though. And the truth is, I don't think she'd be a good fit. They have this woman called the Beast, right? And she didn't talk much. She still doesn't talk much. But she's a powerhouse type of wrestler, and she's no nonsense type of chick. But she's a strong woman and physically bigger than most of the other women there. So for her, and she had became the champion. I haven't watched it in a long time, so I don't really know what's going on right now. But everything you watch and that you see with this company, it's, like I said, it's an outgoing, bubbly type presence. I remember when Willow Nightingale was there, but her wrestling name was Eye Candy. Okay? And she was a lot slimmer. Willow was a slim chick back in the day. But, yeah, Julia, I just don't see her being a good fit in WOW. I mean, there are other things that you can do with her, but in terms of her really thriving and shining there, that's what I don't really see. I know she can wrestle, she can put a great match on, but And the majority of those wrestlers over there, it's not that these women are like super talented wrestlers. Um, they're more, like I said, on the acting side of things and the interacting with the crowd type of stuff. And, you know, like they come out, talk their little smack and everything. But yeah, Julia is not that type of person. Julia would need, and as far as the entertainment value, I feel like they would need to put someone with her that's doing the talking for her. She's physically reacting to it, but she's not really saying much, you know, or she might say what she's going to say in Japanese, but she said it seriously. So even if they don't understand what she's saying, it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that Julia is a badass and she's showing it. And I really just don't see them putting that type of effort if she was to go to WOW. So I think she fails at that. Now, I did not add New Japan to this list for the simple fact she could have done that already. And the women in Japan, they're hard-hitting. They have these badass, like, ass-kicking type matches. So she could definitely go there and make an impact. She could go there and do, you know, have some great matches and great moments and stuff. And, you know, memories for the fans and everything. But being that she could have done it a long time ago, I don't think it's something that she really want to do. So I feel like if she was to go there, you're still in Japan. And I just think you're in a better space if you go back to Stardom World for that matter. But I feel like in New Japan, Julia would just be just another wrestler. You understand what I mean? Like, even if they respect what she do, it'll just be a thing where it's nothing that's going to take her to the next level. It's nothing that, it's not like all of a sudden people who normally wouldn't watch it is now watching New Japan. And I just, again, I don't see them making that kind of effort for Julia. And therefore, I didn't add them to this list. You know, I could have, but just to make it 8 because I got 7. But that's the ones I really wanted to talk about. I just think that Julia, like I said, she's a great talent. And the fact that people are judging, you know, how poorly, you know, misused she's been on WWE, and they're blaming it, you know, on her as if she's just not producing. But it's like I said, it's always somebody else's fault. Notice the same thing. When Jade Cargill had a little botching stuff, she needed to go back to AEW. Every time someone is not initially from WWE and they have some type of popularity and some type of respect on their name, it's always somebody that just want to try to find something to complain about. And if Julia was to leave, I could already see a lot of people going, so what? Who cares? She was a jobber. She couldn't wrestle. No, yeah, she could wrestle. You guys remember Matt Bourne, who ended up becoming Doink the Clown? Matt Bourne was a badass dude. And once he became Doink the Clown, it just was like one of these things where I know who he is. Why is he even doing this? Why is he going along with this? And you live, you learn. And I started to see things for what they really were. Not what I wanted it to be, but what they really were. So yeah, man, I've always enjoyed watching Julia's work. In fact, after this video, I'm going to pull up and watch her old work in Stardom World. But Julia was that chick, man. And so Stardom World gets the X. So there's 4 companies that I feel she could definitely shine in, and 3 that she won't. 1 that she's already in, and she's not shining at all in the WWE. So check for AEW, check for Maple Leaf Pro, X for NWA, check for MLW, check for Stardom World, X for WWE, and X for WOW. Are y'all used to Julia's work in Stardom World? Tell me in the comment section if y'all know about Julia. Because if you know about Julia before she came to WWE, you know Julia was badass. But this is what they reduced her to, man. That's all I got for you guys now. Catch you on the next video.